Hey friends, good morning. I hope that you're having a great day today or that you're having a great morning whenever you are watching this. I'm going to be doing a shop my stash, and one of the items that I pulled out I've never used in a video. Like, I bought this a while ago, but it is the e.l.f. 18 Hit Wonders palette, this really brightly colored palette. And the other things I have used in videos, but it's been a while. I'm going to do my eyeshadow first just because I don't know how this e.l.f. palette, how it works, because I've never used it before. I don't know if it has fallout or any of that. So anytime I first use an eyeshadow palette, I usually do my eyeshadow first just because in case there is eyeshadow fallout, it won't mess my makeup up. First, I'm gonna go in the crease with the shade Peachy. And I assume that e.l.f. still sells this. Like, I purchased this, I think last year, or maybe the beginning of this year. I don't even remember now. I'm just gonna use this Morphe M332 brush. I've really been enjoying this brush. It has just been taking the forefront of my makeup brushes. Like, it's the one I reach for the most. I like how I can really blend in the crease nicely, but also use this in the outer V. So I think that's why I've really been reaching for this, because it's just a really nice versatile brush. I want this shade to kind of peek above the others and just to help the other shades I'm going to use today to blend out. Next, I'm going to go in with the shade Summer and also blending this in the crease, not up quite as high as that other shade, just because I want that to peek above this one. But yeah, these shades are blending out really nicely. Don't see any fallout. I'm using the shade Heat in the outer V. So I'm getting that on the same Morphe brush that I've been using. And I'm just gonna focus this right out here in the outer V. So we're going super warm with this look today. But do any of you guys own this eyeshadow palette from e.l.f.? Do you use it very often? I mean, like, for me, even though, you know, I'm pretty creative with my makeup looks, sometimes I look at this and I'm like, what do I do? So I'm sure probably a lot of you guys feel the same way about this palette if you own it. Or I don't know, like, maybe you use it a lot. Like, let me know. Would you like to see some more looks with this palette? Should I do a 3 looks 1 palette with this? Okay, then I'm just gonna take like my washcloth here. This is just a dry washcloth. And I am gonna, I know it looks really filthy because I use it for cleaning makeup, so it's just stained. So yeah, I'm just gonna clean the makeup brush off, just dry clean it. And then I'm gonna kind of go back like the opposite way. So we're gonna go with the shade again. And I'm gonna lightly go around that, is it Heat? Yeah, that shade in Heat. Which, have you guys noticed on Ulta, they are bringing back the Tartelette palettes? Like, there's the Tartelette Toasted, the Tartelette in Bloom, and there's like another one. I can't remember what that one's called. I was so close to get the Tartelette, the Toasted one, because that was like a palette that once they stopped selling those, I wish I would have gotten that palette. So are any of you guys like getting any of those palettes? Like, did you even know that they were bringing those back to Ulta? Like, I'm just like, are they keeping them permanent, or are they just like a limited time thing? Like, I don't really know. I just saw it as like new makeup releases for Ulta, like the other day when I was checking like new makeup at Ulta. So I don't know. I probably should have bought it because Ulta was doing like a sale like for members and stuff this last week. And I was so close to getting it, but it's like $50 for the palette, and I just talked to myself out of it. But I just thought about that Tartelette Toasted because of this eyeshadow look. Then on the eyelid, I'm going to use this shade in Penny, and I'm just using the Morphe M303 brush. Just pack that shade in Penny on the brush, tap off the excess, and then I'm just going to place this on the eyelid. If this doesn't remind you of a hot summer day, I don't know what does. And it's been super hot here this week, so this is definitely this definitely represents this week. This would also be really pretty with like a gold eyeshadow on the lid, which this doesn't really have a nice gold in this palette, but... And then I'm just going back with that blending brush, nothing added to it, and I'm just gonna blend right in here. Sometimes I just feel like I need to blend that area of my eye. Like, look at how much kick up though that shade in Penny had. I'm just gonna use the shade in Solar, and I want to put this at the top of the crease. Like, I just really want that upper crease to look really glowy. So I am gonna go in with like a brow bone highlight to kind of tone down how far up the yellow got, and also do an inner corner highlight, but I will do that after I do my foundation. So I'm gonna take a makeup remover wipe here, and I'm just gonna clean any like fallout or any eyeshadow that got down a little too far. So I'm gonna clean up the edge of this. This could also be like a candy corn eyeshadow look, so maybe this could also be a good fall time look as well. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. It has been a minute since I have used this, and I'm probably going to have to mix these two shades. This is probably too light, this is too dark. I have the shades in 13 Fair Neutral and 31 Medium Neutral. I need like light something. I could have sworn I got like a light neutral shade. Did I not? It's like I have these other two in this where I've got light warm and fair warm, which these are way too yellow. So yeah, I guess these are the only two that I have. I could have sworn I got like 15. Maybe not. Now I'm gonna have to go back and watch my videos. I'm like, did it fall somewhere? Because I have like my foundations up on this shelf over here, and sometimes they fall down. Maybe I didn't, I don't know. I'm losing my mind. But let's just mix these two together. But that is one thing that I have mentioned before in videos, that this e.l.f. Soft Glam, it's been a challenge for me to find like my shades that I need in the different seasons. I don't know what it is about this foundation, and they have so many different shades in this. So you would think that it would be easy. So I'm literally just mixing those two shades on the back of my hand to try to get this to a shade that is close to what I need. Okay, and I'm just gonna dot this foundation all around. Okay, so I'm just going in with my Wet n Wild makeup sponge. This has been dampened, but I really need to use this e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation a little bit more just to see how it's performing this summer. I know last year when this first came out, it was like really in the middle of summer, or at least it was at the beginning. I don't know. It was sometime in summer, because I remember the day that I did the wear test. It was a day I went to the pool, and this did not hold up well, like in the heat and humidity. So I just don't think this is a really great foundation for the summertime for longevity, at least for me. My skin's more on the normal leaning oily in the summer, where in the winter my skin is mostly just normal. So I think this is going to be more of a wintertime, fall winter foundation, but I do want to test it out a little bit more in the summer to really know. But I have some foundations that I have just designated as these are wintertime foundations because of the finish and how they wear in the summer. And then I have my summertime foundations. Do any of you guys have foundations like that in your collection? Like where you use them in different seasons of the year? Okay, so that is what that looks like all blended out. Hopefully I blended it out well. And I feel like the shades mixed together, like I got the undertone, or like the color, I got it right for me when I was blending them together. So, okay, I pulled out a couple of different concealers. I don't know which one I want to use yet. Like I pulled out the Maybelline Superstay Activewear and the Natasha Denona High Glam. And it's one of those things that if I do decide to use this Superstay today and I don't like the way this looks, I think I'm just going to declutter it from my makeup collection, because I keep going through that phase where I don't know if I like this or not because I don't use it regularly enough. But I do know I like the Natasha High Glam. This is one of my faves. I just need to put it in the rotation a little bit more. I just don't use it as much because in my videos, I'm mostly talking about Drugstore, and this is like a pretty like high-end concealer, but it is a really good one and I do recommend it. So let's use this one today, the Maybelline, and this is in shade 15. So like this shade anyway is like a shade that I can't use until the summer. And the formula on this is very, very thin. And it isn't like the most full coverage concealer out there. So I'm just gonna paint it on. Normally I would just dot, but we're gonna paint today. And then I'm gonna blend this out. But I know last year, this was one of my go-to concealers. But I feel like over the winter, I didn't like this as much. So I don't know if maybe I've just found some other concealers that I like even better than this, or if maybe my under eyes have changed since last year and so I don't like it as much. I don't know. It's weird how sometimes you have products that you really love, but then over time, you just fall out of love with them. But this is just my opinion. I just don't think that Maybelline has great concealers. And I know some people would disagree because I know like some people really love that Instant Age Rewind Eraser concealer and also the Fit Me. But both of those crease like none other on me, even if I don't use a lot of it. And if I don't use a lot of those, they don't cover very much. So for me, I like a very like full coverage, long wearing concealer. I know when I was younger, I really did like the Fit Me and also the Instant Age Rewind, but as I've gotten older, I just don't like those. My concealer needs have changed over the years. So I'm taking a little bit more of this concealer. I just want to add a little more coverage to these areas. And this shade is not like a super brightening shade. It's more of just like my skin tone shade. It might be ever so slightly a little darker than what I need. But this shade in 15 is definitely like a color that I can only use in the summer months. I'm just going to set everything with the e.l.f. Beauty Miracle Flawless Pressed Powder. This has been my favorite go-to, so this is not like a product I was necessarily using that I haven't used in a while, but this has just been a favorite setting powder. Like, oh my gosh, I love this so much. Like, it really does a great job of airbrushing the skin. This is definitely a dupe to the Charlotte Tilbury powder. So if you can get your hands on this e.l.f. powder, definitely recommend. And the shade that I'm using in this is in One Light. I always list my shades down in the description box. So if you need to recall anything, just check that out down there. And then I'm going to take my, just like a triangle makeup sponge. I got this off of Amazon. Get some more of this powder on there. And then I'm just going to press it here on the under eyes. I feel like I need to take a Q-tip and kind of clean up some of this eyeshadow. I just feel like some of it got up too high or something. I know once I do my brow bone highlight and all of that, it's gonna start coming together, but just looks a little out of control right there in the inner corner of my eye. Off camera, I just applied some of the Vaseline Rosy Lips to condition. And now I'm going to go ahead and move on to brows. And I'm going to be using a brow pencil that I have not used in ages, mostly because I don't really feel like this is my shade anymore. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I want to use this to be like, does this work for me? Does it not? But this is the Benefit Precisely My Brow in shade 3.75. So I feel like I need maybe, I don't know, like slightly a different shade than this, but let's just go ahead and use this. Like my color, maybe you guys can't really tell, but it's kind of faded a little bit, and I actually like the color that it currently is. I might even get some highlights in it at some point. I don't really know. But I'm supposed to go back to my stylist on Wednesday, so tomorrow, which by the time you guys see this video, it's going to be Thursday. At least I'm hoping to get this video up on Thursday. I've got a lot of stuff going on this week, but I haven't decided if I want to just have her just only touch up my roots, you know, and obviously trim up my hair, but or if I want to get highlights in it. So who knows? Maybe in Saturday's video or my next video after this, you'll see me and my hair will be slightly different. I don't know. Or maybe it'll be the same. Haven't quite decided. But I think maybe this brow pencil matches good. Like, what do you guys think? But I remember back in the day, like Benefit was like the only brow pencils I would use. Like this one, and I feel like they had another one even before this one. I forget what that one was called. And of course, like the Anastasia Brow Wiz, like that was my go-to for a while until Drugstore started coming out with their brow pencils. And now basically every makeup brand or every drugstore and high-end brand has their version of a brow pencil now. So it is so crazy how one thing can just change the whole makeup landscape. But I would not say that this Precisely My Brow is any better than any of the other drugstore brow pencils out there. But I do think that maybe Benefit offers more shades, like a lot of different shade ranges than, you know, some other drugstore brands offer. Like I know NYX has one of the most extensive different brow shades, especially if you have really warm brows, if you're like, you know, have red hair or, you know, really warm hair. NYX offers some warmer tones, and so does Benefit. So, you know, that's the one benefit to Benefit is all the different shades they offer. Where like, you know, Maybelline or L'Oreal or something like that, CoverGirl, they might only offer like a limited shade range. So that's really the main downfall with drugstore, is sometimes they just don't offer a lot of shades, but that's how they can keep their prices lower, you know, by not having such a huge line of products. Okay, this is like another product that I need to use to be like, do I like this? Do I not? This is the Wet n Wild Mega Stay Extreme Hold. And this stuff, from what I remember, it was like glue. It really glued your brows down. So it's one of those things that you cannot go through a bunch of different times. So let's just try to get my brows the way I want them on the first go around, and also not glue, like put too much product in them. But I do think that this product might be really good for somebody that's got their brows laminated. But this stuff is literally like old school hair gel from what I remember. So I'm gonna take the e.l.f. the brow lift applicator, and I'm gonna flatten these brows down. Which I don't even know. Are fluffy brows still in right now? I'll make them slightly fluffy, not too crazy. Okay, so that's what the brows are looking like. We'll see how they feel here in a little bit. They get like really stiff. I just don't want them to look dry and crusty is my main thing. So now I'm gonna move back to the eyes and finish my eyes out. And I might maybe blend some stuff on the lower lash line too. But I mainly want to do like my brow highlight inner corner, which I guess they do kind of have like a light shimmery shade in this, the shade in Pave. So I might use that in the inner corner. I think I want to, I think I want to use more of a matte shade as my brow bone highlights, but let's use Pave or Pav. I don't know. It's got like an apostrophe on the E. So I'm just gonna, that's a really pretty inner corner. color. It's like I almost didn't even notice the shade in this palette, I guess because there's so much color. Okay. I'm like, do I want to use this as my brow bone highlight? Yeah, let's just go for it. Because I was thinking I was going to use a matte, but let's just use this since it's already in the palette. Okay, and I am going to blend some colors here on the lower lash line. I think I might go in with the shade Supreme, which is almost like a purplish brown. That might be a good shade to use if you wanted to deepen the outer V a little bit more with this look. It could work almost like a black in a sense. But I'm just using the Sigma Pencil E30 to blend that shade on the lower. I think since this color is a little bit more cooler toned or just deeper, kind of helps to balance out all that warmness that I have above. Okay, so I'm going to use the Sigma E25 blending, get a little bit of that shade in Supreme. This is almost like a raisin sort of color. And this, I will show you how this looks compared to the other eye, just to show you how it like deepens it a little bit more. So just lightly blending. And I'm gonna get a little bit of heat on this brush too, go around the edge of that, because I still want to keep the warmth, just want to deepen it. Okay, so see the difference between the two eyes there, just so it deepened it ever so slightly. Yeah, I just needed a little bit more depth to balance everything. And I'm gonna take the shade in Quartz, the shade here, on my finger. And I'm gonna just lightly tap it right in the center of my eyelid, just to kind of lighten up that shade in Penny. Add a little bit of like more contrast to that shade. Okay, yeah. I mean, it didn't really do a ton to that shade, but just like slightly added some more contrast. And I might go back with a little bit of Summer on the blending brush. Vote for Summer. I don't know if you've ever seen Napoleon Dynamite, the movie, but you will know the reference if you've seen that movie before. Okay, yeah, my eyebrows feel like they are glued down right now, but I don't think that they look white or crusty. Maybe a little bit. I don't really know. I think it's like one of those products that would look good in photos and on video, but I'm not for sure if I like it the way it looks in real life. It's almost like too stronghold, like too super, which I just realized I did not pull out a bronzer to use today. I'm trying to figure out like what is a bronzer I have not used in a while. I mean, I feel like probably this Maybelline City bronzer and also this Physicians Formula bronzer. I feel like I haven't used either one of these in a hot minute. So I'm going to start out with the Maybelline City bronzer. This might be a little too light for me currently, so we'll just see. And I'm going to use the Sigma Large Powder F30 to blend this. This is more of like a winter bronzer for me. It gets kind of to that point where it's almost just like a setting powder. Yeah, this really isn't showing up. So let's go in with the Physicians Formula bronzer. This is in the color Deep Bronzer. I also have the shade in Bronzer, which that one's a little bit more, I guess, sort of sunny or warm toned. Maybe like more goldeny. I don't know how to explain it. It's got like a little bit more of a yellow undertone, just the one in Bronzer. This Deep Bronzer, I kind of like the undertone of this one a little bit better for me, but it's one of those bronzers that I cannot really use until we start getting into summer and I get a little bit more of color, getting a little bit more color. But see, it is such a pretty shade. what are your favorite bronzers? Let me know, let us know down in the comments. And then I'm gonna take a little bit more of this here on my nose. And on my neck and jawline, just whatever's left on the brush. And I also like broke this packaging last year. Like somehow it got like stuck in my drawer and I hate that, but it like broke the little thing that kept it closed. So hopefully this doesn't dry out. I mean, I know it's a powder, but powders do dry out over time, or they can anyway. So this is another palette that I want to use again in a video. Like I've really been into super warm toned looks. So if you couldn't tell, this blush that I'm going to use is not like a product that I dug in my makeup collection that I haven't used in a while, but it's a blush that I've used recently that I wanted to use again, but it is the Morphe blush in Cabana Club, which is a really pretty like orangey fiery red, which I just thought with this makeup look that I was doing today, this would go so well. So let's use this today. And I want to use a little bit of that cream. It's one of those products that's so intense, so you've got to just apply little layers of it at a time. But I'm just using this flat top angled brush that I got out of an Amazon brush set. I'm just gonna put it here on my cheeks. But I did end up ordering the last two Morphe blushes from their collection of these. So I'm going to have all of these blushes in the Cheek Thrills line. But I just really love all the colors. I feel like they're all super different, except for Blind Date and Beach Bonfire. Those are kind of similar, but all the other ones are so different. So I ended up, the last two that I didn't have in my collection that I ordered is Wine and Dine, which is the wine colored one, the plum. And this other one in Sunset Swim, which is like a bronzer almost. Like I'm really curious about that one. I feel like it could look really good or it could look awful. So it's just such a different color for a blush. So I was really curious about how that one would look. But it seems like a lot of you guys own the blush in Blind Date. A lot of you guys have talked about that one, but do any of you guys own any of these other ones? Like any of these brighter colored ones? Like, do you like them as much as me? But I really love these. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the powder now. I just used the cream first. And then this middle is supposed to be a balm. So I don't really know, how that's different than the cream, but I guess you would think a balm would be, more creamy than the cream. But in some ways, for me, I feel like the cream is like a balm and the balm is a cream, but either way. Okay, so I'm going in with the powder. And this is just the Sigma F40. Just lightly tapping that on the cream to kind of set it. Okay, and for my highlight, like I have been stuck on these Becca, the Smashbox times Becca highlights, the Skin Perfector highlights. This is in the shade Opal, and I want to use this today. I have not used this one in a while, and I think it would go good with this look, this makeup look. Okay, yeah, it's like a little bit more like a champagne gold shade, not super golden, it's mostly champagne, but it's like a warmer champagne color. But I feel like highlights are starting to make a comeback. Maybe that's just me hoping. But what do you guys think? Do you feel like highlights are making a comeback? I feel like in general, like a full face of makeup, like a full beat, as some people say, but like a full face of like glam makeup, I feel like it's coming back. I feel like it's making a comeback, and I hope so because I love a full face of makeup. I mean, I wear basically a full face of makeup every day. just because I enjoy makeup so much and I just enjoy the process of applying it, of reviewing it. It's just my favorite. Let's try this setting spray today. I bought this a while back and haven't used it much, but this is the Urban Decay All Nighter Ultra Matte. And I feel like the last time I used this, it didn't look any different than the regular All Nighter setting spray. So this is not like the Hard Candy one. If you didn't see that in my last video, I'll have that video linked above. But jump to the part at least of where I use the Hard Candy setting sprays. Oh my gosh, like that was that was hilarious. So anyway, it's not like that setting spray. So I'm just gonna, maybe I should get that going because it's been a minute since I've used this. Which I did get little white droplets. So maybe this does almost have like a powder in it. But I was reading on Hard Candy's website that you're supposed to shake that matte setting spray to activate the powder or whatever's in it. So maybe I just did not shake that up well, because now, like, you know, thinking about the footage and everything, I don't think I really shook it up. So maybe that was part of the issue, but still, like, why was it black? Like, I don't understand. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to mascara. And I want to revisit this mascara again, the Colossal Bubble Mascara from Maybelline. I need to also get these mascaras on a good rotation. So I'm just curling my lashes up first. But what is your favorite mascara currently? Like, what are you loving? I know a lot of people like this Colossal Bubble Mascara. So I think for me, if there's an eyelash on here, I think for me, this is going to be one of those mascaras that I'm going to like a little bit more once it kind of dries out a little bit. Because, I mean, like, as you can see, like, it does a good job of separating and lengthening my lashes, but I've really got to work with it to get volume. And I know that this is supposed to be more of like a volumizing mascara, right? But I feel like from what I remember from like their old school Colossal mascara, it was one of those ones where it kind of needed to dry out and it got better like the older that the mascara was. So I'm just going to go in with several coats of this, and then I'm going to use the e.l.f. lash extender on the lower just because that one does not smudge. And then we'll come back and I'll show you guys what I'm using on my lips today. I want to use the CoverGirl Outlast Lip Stain. I think this is in Tangelo. This is in Tangelo, I think is how you pronounce it. But I've really been getting back into these CoverGirl Outlast lip stains, especially the brighter colored ones. Like in my last video, I used the one in Epic. Love this for summer. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So let's use Tangelo, right? Because it's like tangerine. Tangelo. I know it's weird, but a lot of times I feel like my dyslexia is more like phonetical, where it's like I cannot remember the phonetics of how to pronounce certain letters. And just in English, like sometimes the way that you would pronounce an A is like different depending on like the other consonants and vowels around it, or like an E or whatever, you know. So I think that's what confuses me. I remember as a kid, like doing the Hooked on Phonics. Do you guys remember that if you're as old as me or older? But yeah, I've always struggled with that. So just forgive me if I pronounce things weird in videos at times. Okay, and then over top of this, I want to go, I've got a gloss from Fenty Beauty. I can get it here. I've got like my little turny thing with all of my lipsticks, but I have this here and I don't know if she even makes this anymore, but this is the Fenty Beauty Heat lip gloss in Hot Cherry, and this was like the plumping one. So sometimes I like pair this with this, But I've also got like these lip products, like this Maybelline Lifter Glaze Oil Balm in Cherry Swirl, and then the Revlon Super Lustrous Shine in Cherry Luster. Like these are really good to pair over top of this as well. So I think I might use maybe the Maybelline one. With those CoverGirl Outlast lip stains, I love to top them with a gloss or balm just to make them shiny, and I feel like it kind of evens out the stain because sometimes the stain will cling to certain areas of your lips. I feel like with the brighter shades in that line, it's not as noticeable as some of the lighter ones, but I do like the CoverGirl Outlast lip stains, but you just have to be aware that sometimes the stain isn't super even on those. So I like to pair them, like I said, with like a gloss or a balm or something. But let's take the hair down. And then this is the makeup look completed. So very bright, very warm toned. Like to me, if you are familiar with seasonal color analysis, like this would seem more like a spring makeup look, because like bright spring or something, just because I'm using such bright, intense colors. So I don't know, like I've been doing these brighter looks and I've really been liking the way they look on me. I'm like, am I a bright spring? I don't know, but my mom and I, we are getting ready to schedule to get our seasonal colors done. So I will definitely, if I can, I'd like to film that experience to share with you guys, or at least do a video just discussing like how it went, what my results were and all of that. So, and I need to clean these earrings off. Like, look, after I did that setting spray, it got them all gunked up. Anyway, I'm off on tangents, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this Shop My Stash Get Ready with me. I hope that you guys have an awesome day today. Let me know in the comments like what other videos you'd like to see me do. I'm definitely going to be doing some tutorials on the new e.l.f. Bite Size palette, so those videos are coming. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one, and I hope that you all have a great day. Bye-bye.